Good morning YouTubians, it's Kermit, it's Ghost, you can call me Alan, and today I'm going to participate in the top 10 tag that's going around, movies that you've not seen. I'm going to pick movies from my collection because it's easier that way, and I do plan actually to watch all these films before I upload it, so a little bit of a twist in my tag video today. So let's have a look through the collection. I've picked out about 6 already, so 4 more to go, so I'm going to have a quick look through before I get on with the first film. So looking through the collection, Casablanca, seen this many times, directed by Michael Curtiz, stars Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Peter Lorre, Claude Rains, great film. Alice Through the Looking Glass in 3D, not a bad film. The Alien films, seen all of those. And you've got the American films here. American Made, American Pie, American Werewolf in London, American Psycho, American President, American Sniper, American Tail, seen all of those. Pretty much seen all these on this shelf. Anchorman, didn't particularly like those. Got a couple of Marvel films here, seen all of those as well. Babe, Back to the Future, Backdraft, what's down here? Batman, I've seen all the Batman films. And I've seen Basil the Great Mouse Detective, based on Instinct 1 and 2, Barney's version, Bank Job. These Buster Keaton films, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Butterfly Effect, Burn After Reading, The Burn-In, Buster, Birkenhair. Oh, what else have we got? Christmas Cow. I've seen all those Christmas films there, and the Narnia films as well, Chronicles of Narnia. All at Caesar there with his Christmas outfit on, and Grogu there looking all happy with his Christmas outfit on. Okay, I've seen all the Hobbit films there, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, seen that Hitman's Bodyguard, Hitman. Harry Potter films, seen all those. Harry Brown, yes. Hearts War, what have we got over here? Hannibal Rising, yeah, Hannibal, seen all those. Ghostbusters, Ghost, G-Force, Get Smart. Okay, what else we got? Herbie, I've seen all the Herbie films. The Help, Hereafter, Hercules, what we got up here? Matrix, seen all of those. MASH, The Mask, Matinee, seen those. Ring, seen that lot. Planet of the Apes, seen those. Rising Sun, Tamara Drew, saw that at the cinema. Tango and Cash, Tarantula. Oh, Taxi Driver, pulled that one out. I haven't seen that one. And all the Tarzan films, seen those. Star is Born, Stardust, Stargate, seen all those. Star Trek, seen every one of those. Seen all the Star Wars collection as well. Super 8, Super Mario, all the Superman films, all the Planet of the Apes films. Seen Fast and Furious 9 there. Seen all the Toy Stories. Tower Inferno, Tower Heist, Tower Block, Tourist. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be my first pick of films I've not seen. It's The Flight of the Phoenix from 1965, directed by Robert Aldrich. I have seen this one, which is the remake starring Dennis Quaid, but I'm not sure if I've seen this one. It stars James Stewart, Richard Attenborough, Hardy Kruger, Ernest Borgnine, and George Kennedy, amongst others. I'm going to put this in the player now and see what I think, and then I'll let you know in just a moment. Okay, so I just finished watching this film, and I've got to say it is absolutely outstanding. Solid performances throughout. The tension ramps up at a great pace. I did notice an actor in this I used to watch a lot in films called Ronald Fraser. He played Sergeant Watson in this. Don't know what happened to him. Knowing James Stewart also flew bombers in World War II added credibility to his role because he was the pilot in the film. All the actors conveyed desperation and paranoia excellently in the film, especially from Richard Attenborough, old Dickie there. He was really good in despair. Picture quality was excellent given the film is more than 55 years old. Movie was shot in California in Imperial Valley, which doubled as northern Libya. There's a few changes made in the remake, namely the removal of the military for the story. But I would say this is a fantastic watch. Give it a go. I would give this a solid 9 out of 10. My next choice is Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World from 2003, directed by Peter Weir, starring Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany. Now, I had this on DVD, never watched it, but I upgraded it to a DVD double disc, still never watched it, and now I have it on Blu-ray, so no excuses, let's watch it. Well, that is another film watched, and I will say I actually watched an interview with Russell Crowe stating that if you're British and you watch this film, you will stand a little bit taller
because it is that patriotic. And you know what? He was absolutely right. This is a wonderful film. It's basically the story of Moby Dick, and Russell Crowe is trying to hunt down a French ship that is getting the better of him, but he does turn the table somewhat in this film. Very good performances from everybody on board, just not just Russell Crowe or Paul Bettany, who incidentally is fantastic as the ship's doctor who's trying to get to the Galapagos Islands to find new species. But a brilliant performance all the way through, fantastic action scenes, great score, just an all-round brilliant film. I give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. Okay, so my next choice is Taxi Driver from 1976, directed by Martin Scorsese. Good cast in this one: Robert De Niro, Jodie Foster, Albert Brooks, Harvey Keitel, Sybil Shepherd, Peter Boyle. So can't really explain why I haven't watched it before. So I'm going to pop it in the player and see if it's any good. So I finally got round to watching it, and I got to say, this is a very good film. Robert De Niro is fantastic as Travis Bickle. Jodie Foster as Iris, what a fantastic performance on that young girl there. Sybil Shepherd put in a good performance, as did Peter Boyle. Harvey Keitel, really good as Sports the Pimp, and music by Bernard Herrmann. Brilliant score, I thought. Very edgy, very gritty, and my word of advice is, if you ever watch this, watch the extras with the stories of the taxi drivers from that era, from the 70s, how rough New York was. It is a very gritty, grimy place to live. I can only imagine how bad it was. But anyway, good film. I'd say a solid 8 out of 10. So film number 4 is a film from 2007, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, and it is There Will Be Blood, as you can see. Stars Daniel Day-Lewis, Paul Dano, and Kieran Hines. Looking forward to this one, so let's pop it on. Okay, so this is a long film, almost 3 hours, and it doesn't lack at all. It follows an oil man played by Daniel Day-Lewis. He's Daniel Plainview, and it's set late 1800s, early 1900s, and it's about this oil man that just walks over everybody to get what he wants. Absolutely amazing performances throughout, even Paul Dano as the preacher. Brilliant. Music is provided by Johnny Greenwood, and it's very edgy. Doesn't hold back, this film, quite violent in places, but definitely worth a watch. A solid 9 out of 10 for me. The next one might surprise you. It's The Thing from 1982. This is one of those films I've seen bits of, but not the whole movie. It's a science fiction horror film directed by John Carpenter. Stars the brilliant Kurt Russell, as well as Wilfred Brimble and David Keith. So I'm looking forward to this one. I've heard nothing but good things. I hope it lives up to the hype. Well, did it live up to the hype? Yes, it did. This is an absolutely brilliant film. It's one of those you have to guess who the intruder, who the alien has taken over. Great movie. I loved everything about it. The setting, the actors, the opening scene. Fantastic. Great performances from all. Kurt Russell on form. Wilfred Brimley, Keith David too as Charles. They were all on top form. Gotta say, the use of practical effects really won me over as well. Fantastic practical effects. I mean, there were a couple of dodgy moments, but overall, fantastic. So much better than CGI, which wasn't available back then anyway. But I would give this film a solid 9.5 out of 10. Easy. Okay, so the next one I think everybody's watched apart from me is Battle Royale. This is quite a recent film, made in the year 2000, just 21 years ago. Action thriller. Can't tell you anything about it because I haven't even seen the trailer. I know the concept. Kids are transported to an island. They have to kill each other in order to survive, and that's about it. So I'll give it a watch. Well, now I know why people have been ranting and raving about this film for so long. Even my brother-in-law, who doesn't like films. This is a superb film. Very original, very violent, and a lot of the characters, I couldn't tell you their names or the faces. I was getting a bit confused because I'm not very good with faces, and or names for that matter, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, engaged with all the characters, started to empathise with some of them. I thought the pacing of the film was very good. It didn't have any dull moments, and you start to wonder if this was reality, would you go ahead with this? And knowing kids today, yes, I probably would. So there you go. I would give this a solid 8 out of 10. So choice number 7 is Neverending Story. This came out in 1984. It stars Barrett Oliver, Noah Hathaway, and Tammy Stronach. Written and directed by Wolfgang Peterson, and it's his first English language film. So let's put it on and see if it's any good. Okay, so this wasn't what I was expecting at all. I quite enjoyed this one. It's a fantasy film about a young boy who's chosen to go on a quest to save his world. And on the outside, in reality, there's a boy reading a book and it all becomes entangled. There's a lot of interesting characters along the way. You've got that famous song by Lamar, Neverending Story, which is always enjoyable to hear. But now it's good to see the film and get a perspective on what it's all about. I'd give this a solid 7 out of 10. Okay, so the next one is Romancing the Stone from 1984, the year I left school. Don't know why I haven't seen this over the years. Always intrigued me, just never got round to watching it. It's directed by Robert Zemeckis and stars Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner and Danny DeVito. I'm going to pop it on right now and see if it's any good or not. Okay, so this was a fun film. It's a love letter to the old-fashioned action films where you have the obvious hero, which is Michael Douglas, sort of a lovable rogue. You've got a damsel in distress played by Kathleen Turner, and you've got the obvious villain as well with his alligator pit and everything. It's very of its time with the gunshots ricocheting, and when you thump somebody in the face, there's that whack noise. It's very of its time, yet very enduring. Love it, absolutely love it. I know there's a sequel as well. I'm going to give this a solid 8 out of 10. So, choice number 9 is Miracle on 34th Street from 1947. It's directed by George Seaton, starring Maureen O'Hara, Edmund Gwenn, and a young Natalie Wood. I have seen the Richard Attenborough version, but let's pop this one on and see what I think. Well, I've got to be honest, I did enjoy this Christmas film, although not as much as the remake with Richard Attenborough, but this is still a heartwarming film. Edmund Gwenn is Santa Claus in this film, and he is just as believable as Richard Attenborough. The story is wonderful, and it's just a joy to watch. I would give this film a solid 7.5 out of 10. And the last film that I've not watched is Weekend at Bernie's from 1989, directed by Ted Kotcheff and starring Andrew McCarthy, Jonathan Silverman, Catherine Mary Stewart and Terry Kaiser. Don't know a lot about this film other than Bernie is dead, and that is it. Let's put it on. Well, I've got to say, this was a little bit better than I was expecting, but to be honest, I wasn't expecting a lot. This is a comedy about a man that's dead. He gets killed by a hitman, actually multiple times, and the two guys either side of him there on the picture sort of make use of it, really, sort of parading around as if he's still alive for their own gains. And that's about it, really. It's not the greatest film, but it's not the worst either. I'd give that a solid 6 out of 10. Well, I hope you enjoyed this top 10 tag of films I hadn't seen, but I have now. And I hope you take some advice and actually watch these films on your list, because it is worth it. I enjoyed them for the most part. Quite a few high scorers there. And who knows, if I hadn't done this top 10 tag, maybe I would never have seen these films. So it's worth putting them on, checking them out.